haven't actually done much talking to the camera. I do have a couple things I want to talk about. Nothing crazy important, not that my opinion is that much of a huge deal or anything. I don't think I have any more opinion than any other Canadian. First of all, I want to talk about the V being produced here. I don't think that that's proper. There's so many studies going into this, and it's been talking about like how it's not good for you, and you definitely shouldn't be giving it to your kids. I'm not actually going to get too much into that. I don't want to talk about that. I do want to talk about, though, the gun ban. I don't think it's right that he wants to take away legal gun owners. I, for one, tried to get my firearm license, about 2 months before the pandemic started. So 2 months before March there. I tried to get it. I made my first appointment. There was... it took me about 3 months. By the time the appointment even came close, the pandemic had started, and I couldn't get the license. They canceled the first appointment on me. So after about 4 or 5 months, they came out with new restrictions or whatever, and I was able to do one more appointment or course. I made that. Anyway, it got canceled 3 times on me. By the end of probably 5 months ago, I finally got it, and I'm still waiting for it to come in. It hasn't come in yet, but and now apparently I can't. I've done the restricted PAL and the unrestricted, and now the restricted doesn't mean anything, even though I've paid for it. I paid for the application. I have no criminal record. I've never done anything wrong. I have no reason why I shouldn't be able to get my firearms license. But here we are. So anyway, I'm still waiting for that, and now I'll never be able to own a handgun because of these new things. Anyway, I want to talk about my personal experience on why I wanted to go to the trucker convoy. And that was mostly because of my son. I was sick and tired of seeing him in a mask all the time, chewing holes through it, and everybody thought that was fine. I never did. He had to do gym class wearing a mask, and that's just ridiculous. Like, I'm no scientist, but I mean, you can't breathe in those things properly, and it really wasn't doing anything. More studies came out saying that it wasn't doing anything. Yeah. Restricted rifles, so they get away with it. Yeah, I know. I don't understand how they're getting away with any of that. But back to sorry, I'm not used to doing these lives and getting all nervous here. But mostly because my son, every time he tried to talk to somebody, they'd act like he had the plague and say, oh, get away from me. Oh, like, hands up in the air, like, and the kid was 4 years old. Like, that I couldn't deal with. And I went about 3 or 4 months ago to a rally in Toronto, the Million Man March or whatever they wanted to call it, and it was huge, but it did nothing. Nobody cared. Nothing changed. The mandates were still in effect. I couldn't go to take the kid to the park because I wasn't getting into trouble or into a fight with a bylaw, because that's absolutely ridiculous. I can't. I couldn't take him to Flying Squirrel. I couldn't take him out for a meal. I couldn't go visit Grandma. You know, these things actually matter. And over the course of 2 years, the kid gets used to not doing any of those things. And I don't think that's right. Like, and to restrict them for absolutely no reason, which all of us by now should know that there's no reason. And anyway, I want to talk mostly about why I went to the convoy in the beginning. The whole reason, like, I thought, like every other Canadian, we were alone in this. And then come to find out, like, I didn't find out until the convoy, until I think the 27th when they rolled through Ottawa. And I heard about them coming, so I immediately went to the bridge and waved my flag and took the camera, and it was amazing. That was the second time that I actually seen Canadians being Canadians, you know, since this pandemic started. The first time was at the first Freedom March in Toronto, when it was the first time we actually walked up and there was people saying hi to my son and hello. They gave him a flag. He got hugs. People were laughing and joking. It was like it was 2019 again. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. But so when I heard the truckers were coming through Oshawa, I went and I stood at the bridge for 2 hours, and then as soon as I could, because I have to work, I went down to Ottawa the first weekend. I took DJ. He had the most amazing time. We were walking around. Everybody was talking to him. Everybody's hugging him. There was people of every ethnicity in the crowd. I don't know. They all tried to avoid showing that on camera, but it was there. I have it on video. When we stayed in -23. I have video of my son just laughing and joking when we got there at like 10 p.m. and we were walking around. It was the safest place I'd ever seen. He was just happy as heck. I couldn't believe it. Even with the horns and everything, and I understand how loud that could have been and annoying, but it's, you know, I felt like it was the horns of freedom, basically, you know, and I couldn't be more with them. But not, yeah. So and my family, or some members of my family, to be talking about how I'm a racist and I'm everything else because I stood with people and they took one picture of one crazy person with a flag.
Chow is here.
Oh yeah, the chow is here?
Yeah, food's here.
Okay. I'll be in a second.
I need pee.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. Wow. Yeah, I haven't been able to, the whole time we weren't able to, he has an obsession with New York City, and I would love to have been able to drive him down there, and I couldn't. That was impossible because, as like many other parents, and I'm not getting him done, so we had no choice but to not be able to travel or go anywhere around Canada even, and to me it's unacceptable. I don't know why I can't just go walking across the border to show my son New York, you know? Like, it seems so simple to me. But we couldn't do that. We couldn't do many other things. Like, as you guys know, I actually had it pretty lucky. I'm not going to sit here and complain. I got to work through the whole thing. For some reason, they made me essential for being construction, so I got to work through the whole thing, which I'm lucky as hell. Other people were not so fortunate, and for them I feel. But, and to be honest, like
Mommy
I had
said
lots
I need to get you.
Okay, buddy. Hey, say hi.
Hey.
This is DJ here. What do you think of the convoy? Was it fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I made this.
Yeah.
Show it up.
No, that's okay. All right, buddy. I'll be in a minute. You go in quick. It's cold. Hey.
But you need to come right now.
No, I'm coming, buddy. Go in. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, he's the only reason, basically. Like, I could have dealt with any of the restrictions, any of that stuff, and honestly, it bugged the hell out of me that they were going along with this and taking away our rights with all willy-nilly, but it didn't bother me as much as it bothered me to see him suffering and people talking about how basically acting as if he was sick all the time, even though, you know, like, he's not. And the media had everybody so scared. Like, my own family telling me I'm a racist because they seen one flag in one picture from one crazy ass person that got kicked out right away, and I obviously had no affiliation with. But because of one flag, my actual family talked about how I was a racist. and how I couldn't, if I'm standing in a crowd with that flag, then that makes me a racist. And I'm like, if you were there and seen the races that were there, you wouldn't be saying that. The love that was given by all Canadians. If you love this country like most of us do, then you're a Canadian. I don't care where you came from, whatever. If you're gonna love the flag like all of us do, then you're Canadian. So there was no the racism. There was people walking around with masks. I don't know what people were talking about, ripping people's masks off. I'm sure maybe it happened because when you have that many people in a crowd, there's bound to be some crazy people. That's 100% in any single crowd. Like, if you deny that, then you're just denying facts. Simple as that. So yeah, there was probably a couple crazy people and whatever. I'm sure a couple people got their masks ripped off, and I'm not for that. I think you should make your own decision. But I seen plenty of masks. It was minus 25 when I went there the first time. There was plenty of masks walking around, like not just nurse masks. We had masks on, the scarf masks to cover up. It was freezing. Like, I don't know what anybody was talking about. Half of the protesters there were wearing masks, like nurse masks. It was no problem. You make your own decision. Half of the people there were vaccinated, and including myself. I got to. The last one was a year ago, but and I'm not gonna make a judgment and tell you whatever. It should be nobody's business. Is my point. Like, it doesn't matter whether you do or not. It should be your choice. Simple as that. Like any other thing. And I'm not gonna get into that either because I am not a scientist. So that's just stupid for me to talk about. But I went there again on the 11th and 12th with my wife, and we had a great time again. It was, again, the most amazing place. Like, everybody, I think the honking had stopped by then, and it was a lot warmer, so it was actually a lot nicer. However, we didn't stay the night because I think Ford made the Emergency Act, and I wasn't about to get my car towed or anything like that, so I think we went to a parking lot and I stayed there, and then we came back in the morning and walked around, and again, it was beautiful. There was people everywhere saying good morning and do you need anything? Are you hungry? Or anything, whatever you would like. You could find it there, no problem, for free. I heard stories about like the homeless and all that, and I then hearing stories about the crime, how it went down. So there's nothing to be said about this. Like, any story you heard, it might be a one-off, and I'm not saying that anybody was wrong or whatever. And it might have happened. I doubt it, but it might have happened. There was so many people there. It was unbelievable. So the fact that some crazy people might have made it in doesn't surprise me. There was that many, and that's what happens in any crowd. So I don't want to make this into a rant, I guess. I don't know what I wanted to just come on and try doing a live. I had a few thoughts, and I'm just sick of people talking shit all the time, like thinking that I'm this or I'm that, or I have these beliefs and those beliefs because I support the truckers. Well, I support the people that supported us when I was thinking the same thing for 2 years, and all of a sudden there's a million other people that think the same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna join them. So, and when everybody else was telling me I need to do this and I need to do that and wear a mask and keep your kid away from me and this and that, like things like that, and then these other people are saying, come here, give me a hug, be happy, and we don't want lockdowns, mandates are bad, the psychological hardship that these kids have dealt with over the last 2 years because of being locked in and not having. My kid was 4 when it started. He had no idea what this was or why he needed to stay in the house. It was ridiculous. I couldn't take him anywhere, and everybody wanted to act like that. I should just push him to do this stuff, even though I know it's not right. And then there was like the segregation in the school. If people opted to not let their kid wear the mask, then they got they got ostracized. Those kids got put in the corner and acted as if they had something wrong with them because their parents didn't want them to be put in a mask. Like, I don't. It was so unbelievable to me that more people, or that anybody could be against these truckers and what they were saying. The point was, and what were they even there for? And what were you guys even doing? Are you done yet? Or is this over? Like, what is your even point? Like, end all mandates. These mandates were causing serious harm to kids, dads, moms, everybody. Businesses got shut down. People got kicked out of their house. Like, it was so ridiculous that anybody could be like, yeah, let's lock it down again. Let's do this again. Let's have more people fucking lose their jobs, lose their houses, lose their families, have their kids commit suicide. Like that, it's so ridiculous. When one kid does anything or even thinks about doing that, at the age that they were doing it, that should be over. That's enough. Put them back to school, get it done. You know, that's it. I don't know why anybody could even think about, you know, a cold is going to get the kids, so be careful, you know. Yeah, it doesn't mean you got to force them to wear masks and chew on them, chew holes through them. My kid was in kindergarten when it first started, and all the way through kindergarten, because I didn't want to segregate him and have him sitting in the corner of the room. So I made him wear the mask, even though I didn't agree with it, not one speck. But even though I didn't agree with it, I made him wear the mask because I didn't want him sitting in the corner and be ostracized by the rest of the students and the teachers as if he had something wrong with him, because I didn't want him to wear the mask. And no matter which side of the field you're on, you know, your kid should never suffer consequences for the stupid choices you make. Just like this vax that's going, you know, like the consequences are far outweighing this little cold that is doing nothing to kids. And I don't understand how people could be like, giving perfectly healthy kids this so that when nothing happens to perfectly healthy kids, there's no reason for them to have something that they need to take. How often? 6 months? It's ridiculous. I have my own gripes with that, and I don't want to get into that because I'm not a doctor again. But the fact is that people push this, and they're not doctors either. They don't understand why I wouldn't want this for anybody. Like, if you've heard of the reactions to this on kids, then I don't know that anybody would be pushing this, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you get the disease, and you're healthy already, you have no problem with it. It goes away pretty quick. I've known lots of people that had it, and it just, you know, blew right through. Now, I'm not a doctor. If there's something, you have other things wrong with you, then, you know, and your doctor, who you trust, says that you should, then you should, you know. Then it's up to you to trust your doctor or not. You don't trust me. That's ridiculous. Or anybody else that talks like this. Like, you should have a relationship with your doctor that isn't coerced by a pharmaceutical company. You should have a doctor that wants the best health for you. Simple as that. Now, if the best health for you is to simply get exercise and you'll beat this disease like nothing, then that should be their answer. Not go get this and then go sit on your couch. Because that's basically what they've said for 2 years, is that you take this and then you don't need to do anything else. We're going to promote beer drinking and, you know, candy, this and that, and then go ahead and tell you, take this so that COVID doesn't hurt you. But the whole time they could have been telling you, they could have shut down the junk food aisle instead of the kids' clothing aisle. and they could have shut down the beer store instead of, you know, AA meetings. Like, none of this made any sense. Like, if you wanted to make your own choice and go into a room full of other people that wanted to make a choice of their own too, then that should have been your choice. The only reason the hospitals are overran is because now a lot of these nurses don't want to get vaccinated, and they have lost their jobs because of this. Now, if it was me, I'd be wondering, why don't they want to? Because if it was the best choice and the obvious one, like everybody wants to convince you it is, then you would think the nurses and the doctors would be the first to be jumping on this. And not just the ones paid by whoever, all of them, right? Like the ones not making money and the ones that are being silenced are maybe the ones that you should listen to. The ones making millions by pushing this, they're not the ones you should listen to, is all I'm trying to say. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, no cares for them for sure. Sorry, this is my first live, so I have a hard time. Can't read the comments too. Maybe I'll get used to it real quick, or maybe I won't do it again. I don't know, we'll see. But I just wanted to get on and rant about a couple things. My son is inside and tells me dinner's ready, so I will go try and do that. I'm going to try to do some lives because I've done a million videos on YouTube, but after Rolling Thunder, they wouldn't let me go live anymore. So that was a little ridiculous, and I don't understand why. However, I still can on here, so maybe I'll see you again. Maybe not. If not, check me on YouTube, Chris Mason.